This is going to be from this coming Monday, the 5th, which is the full moon, happy almost the full moon, through Sunday, the 11th. This is for the location of the Giza pyramids. If you don't already know, that's usually where I do it from. I am going to focus in on the moon because despite what you may have been told, that's what's giving us our daily horoscope. So all of these solar horoscopes, oh, the sun is still every single day in the same sign for 30 days, or in some cases more. That's not really the best way to give yourself a daily horoscope, but the lunar horoscopes are a little trickier just because you have to really be on top of it because the moon moves so much. So it's not conducive to writing books about daily forecasts and stuff because there's a lot going on. So I'm going to do that for you though, because I love you and I want you to have this information. So we're going to go hour by hour here. And as you can see, over the 5th and over the 6th, the moon is transiting Sagittarius. So during this time, we want to be focused on becoming the master of our skills, of the universe. This is a great time to focus on your career. And really, even if you have artistic things that you are concerned with, you want to try to use this energy to master those, any work that you put into them. If you're trying to improve your health or your relationships, all of the work that you're doing, you're going to be, I hate to say, 10xing your efforts, but you're going to definitely get a much bigger return on all of those things. Now into the 7th and probably into the 8th, we're going to be going through Capricorn. Sorry if this is making you dizzy. I know I'm going really fast. This is much more of a selfless time. This, you want to be putting your energy into, yes, technically you can still be putting it into your career. You've got to pull some all-nighters. You're studying for that exam. It has to be meaningful. You have to be passionate about it. Family things are favorable during this time. So anytime, especially if you have kids, all the time you're spending with them, they're going to receive a lot more nurturing than they otherwise would. And then into the 9th and into most of the 10th, and I'm going to swing back here and talk about this conjunction. But during this time, we want to be communicating, networking, thinking outside the box, doing some of that innovation. If you do any type of classical artistry, this is a phenomenal time to do all of those things. Now, because Saturn is right in the middle of Aquarius, this is also especially beneficial for your career. If you have to do any of these for your career, they are going to come much easier to you and they're going to have a much bigger impact on all of your efforts. Into the 11th, and I guess we'll do the 12th too, because technically it's still going to be on this side of Pisces. But throughout the 11th and the 12th, the moon is going to be heading through. Originally, this was likely a swallow, but this side of Pisces, and this is going to activate your psychic centers, your spiritual centers. It's going to bring up some karmic experience from beneath the surface. And so we really want to make sure we're spending time helping other people, but also tuning into ourselves, tuning into the spiritual side of things, however you want to do that. But this is a phenomenal time to do any type of meditative practice, any spiritual practice, and you are going to get so much more out of it. I'm going back to the 10th, and as you can see on the 10th, right around midnight-ish, the moon is exactly conjunct with Saturn. During this time is when it's going to be the most intense. Originally, Saturn was a planet of the sun, and in some texts, when they describe Saturn, they actually use the terms for the sun. So looking at Saturn is like looking at the sun. It's not destroying anything. It's not sinister. It's not ruining your life. Now, yes, if we look at some of the Babylonian omens, those things were full of some really silly predictions. And sometimes the Saturn being in what they termed the halo of the moon was not such a good thing. But the good news was most Babylonian omens, when they talk about astrology being done in ancient times in reference to the king, oftentimes what was bad for the king was actually good for the land. So even if we're going to use some Babylonian omens here, this is still going to end up being good for all of the rest of us normal people, maybe not some kings and whatnot. But Saturn is just like having a little sun here. So again, we're looking at your external energy, your outer path, your career in many circumstances. When the moon's a little bit more internal, the sun's going to be more external. They're both aspects of you. They're like macrocosmic versions of us. But in this case, it's like having a little new moon. As a matter of fact, there are some omens that talk about when Saturn and the moon are essentially conjunct. They don't use the word conjunct. They told the king that he could break his fast because it's like the new moon. It's a new month because we have the sun and the moon. They're all in line here. And that's what the new moon is. We can look at this as a time of new beginnings, and maybe if you want to get like a fresh start, especially if this is in relation to your artistic projects or even Some of your communications, Aquarius is very talkative. And if you've been struggling to communicate with someone, a partner, a business relationship, a client, this will definitely help you out and allow you to put more of a focus. Does it matter if you're doing it at exactly the right time at night? No. We're probably going to be getting this at least halfway through the 9th and well into, I would still say throughout most of the day on the 10th. I don't know if you're into this. You want to do any special pujas or spiritual work, meditations to try to further your career, phenomenal time to do that. Okay, I'm going to do my very best to be here same time next week. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps me out when you click the like button so that more than 10 people will actually see the video. Again, I don't have any social media outside of YouTube, but if you have social media, feel free to share this for anybody who you think might be interested in it. If you join my very rare newsletter, which it's probably been over a year since I sent a newsletter, to be honest with you, but you are entered to win a free 1-hour astrology reading of your choice. So you can do that through the website. My store is up. You can always still find me on my Etsy store too. And I'll stop talking now and I'll just see you next time.